Hello there everyone, today I'd like to introduce you to a brand new online board game style social deduction game developed by KONAMI called Crimesight. I've got into it with relatively low expectations to just have fun for a couple of hours and found myself completely addicted to how fun, engaging and polished this game is, and I'd like to spread the word as it's really something to try out. Thank you already for watching this video, and if you'd like it, consider to subscribe and check out the rest of my channel. Crimesight takes place in London in the year 2075, where crime has been reduced by 90% globally due to an advanced AI called Foresight. It senses an event that could lead to the end of the world, so a new AI is developed called Sherlock, one that is able to predict and stop crimes before they even happen, orchestrated by an evil AI called Moriarty. The gameplay first looks very confusing and complicated, but it is only on the surface. Once you play a couple of games and completed the tutorials, which, by the way, are really good quality, you quickly realize how fun and engaging Crimesight is and how addicting outsmarting your opponents can be. This turn-based tactical investigation game is split into two teams, Team Sherlock and Team Moriarty. As the good guys, you need to figure out who the victim is among the survivors who are trapped in a mansion and keep him alive through a perfect turn-based cat and mouse game, while also doing your best to identify the killer NPC. If you're on Moriarty's side, you try to catch the victim alone with your killer without any witnesses, while trying to keep Sherlock clueless, or even lead them after false clues. Both teams can control a number of characters each turn from a cast of 6, with certain priority rules in case their commands overlap. And to keep teams balanced, such as Moriarty not being able to control the victim character on the map, but if both Moriarty and Sherlock control the same other characters at the same turn, Moriarty's orders take priority. It takes a bit too long to explain these rules, and they also sound way too overcomplicated than necessary, but as I said, that is all the surface, and once you get the basics, it's fairly straightforward. The game is also very supportive, as there are several systems created in-game that keeps track of vital information and clues for you in the matches, so you don't have to keep everything in mind and make notes, and instead just focus on your strategy and making your moves well. The rest is displayed in a very detailed and informative UI. Each character's relation to the others is separately tracked, and as the match progresses on, these connections are updated based on information Sherlock players have found out, and tell you which characters have evil plans against each other, or if there are enough clues gathered, completely clear them from suspicion and narrow the list of suspects. There are multiple game modes you can choose from, such as 1v1, 2 vs 1, 2v2, and 3 vs 1, where most of the time the Sherlock investigators are split into multiple players who have to communicate and form a team through proper communication with the help of stickers and in-game emotes, which I was afraid of initially, but turned out to be an excellently designed form of communication that strikes a great balance between simplicity and proper teamwork. Of course, this very same system can also be used by Team Moriarty to spread false information and mislead the other players, as no one knows each other's identity at the beginning of the match. At the start, I really thought the game will last only a couple of matches until it will end up stale and repetitive, or find that other players ruin the fun through trolling or being that one person that every board game table hates. But I'm flabbergasted on how excellently they managed to balance the game's atmosphere, that there are no long downtimes, it keeps being entertaining, communication is just enough to manage proper team game but not too accessible to allow bad apples to ruin the games. And all of this combined with the human element of social deduction games, they hit the perfect spot to create a super engaging game where, despite the somewhat same-ish looking maps, every single match feels unique and fun from start to finish. I also find Crimesight to be a graphically pleasing game, as it delivers a very charming anime feel and look through its high-resolution art and models. I've tested it in 4K myself, and it scales perfectly with all elements available in the game, with flawless performance on my end with a relatively old PC. The great graphics are also accompanied by standard over-the-top animations that you see in anime, with fantastic soundtracks that fit perfectly in your triumphant moments when you succeed in outplaying your opponents. Overall, I can't recommend this game enough for people who like social deduction games such as Town of Salem or Among Us with a more turn-based tactical approach. But a lot of people also compared it to Clue or Werewolf games, but I don't have personal experience with them to say that myself. It is very fun, engaging, and also not as time demanding, thanks to its in-game time limits during each turn. Crimesight seemed to have learned many lessons from the mistakes of others in the genre and offers a very fun, polished, and well-tested multiplayer experience. Personally, I also find its monetization, at least on launch, very fair, especially considering the Konami memes, as I think it's more than worth its $20 starting price with an additional $10 for its soundtracks and an excessive collection of fancier in-game stickers and emotes that you can use to communicate. Crimesight is available on Steam for $20, and I hope it will eventually arrive on more platforms to increase its player base, as I think its biggest mistake is that it was not advertised enough, especially considering how polished I think it is and how well it works. So I would encourage everyone to spread the word about this game, as I think it can have a very bright future with enough support from players, since Konami also seems to care more about their board game franchises. I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions about the game, feel free to ask in the comment section, or share your experience with us about Crimesight. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.